Visit Sailrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions.
Hi, I'm Eric Grant with Sailrite. This video is going to discuss what to do if you're building a sail pack kit and your mainsail is loose-footed. What we have to do is we have to make a few modifications to the lock strap. We're still going to cut the 2-inch webbing to 5 3/4 inches with a hot knife to seal the edges. I'm using the Sailrite Edge hot knife with the Sailrite tempered cutting glass for hot knife, and this seals the edges nicely. This is the Edge hot knife that is cordless. We also sell a corded version that is less expensive, but this is an awesome tool. We're going to measure over just like the instructions say at 2 inches from one end and put a mark here. Now this is following the instructions, and what we'll do is we'll fold this side to that mark. We're going to sew across the webbing at this juncture. Do a little bit of reversing at the beginning of our stitch. And at the end. Then I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to sew at this fold juncture, about 1/8 inch from the edge. Doesn't have to be precise. All right. Now we're going to cut a 1/2 inch nylon webbing to the same size as the sewn 2-inch webbing strap that we have. I'll just turn it this way so you can see that fold. And this is not included in the kit, so you need to order a 1/2 inch nylon webbing. And you will need, per strap, you will need 4 inches per webbing strap lock. You also need to order a slug, whether it be a round slug or a slug with a stainless steel bail. That's up to you. You want to get the right size for your boat. And what we'll be doing is we'll be taking this and running it through here and sewing it in the middle of the strap on the side that doesn't have the hem. So whether it be the stainless steel or the fatter one, both will work like this. We're going to do the fatter one since it's obviously a little bit thicker and more difficult to sew on because of all the bulk here. This is the side that has the fold or hem, and we're going to position it down and we're going to position it so it goes into the sewing machine first. We're going to take the 1/2 inch webbing, put it on top and center it in the middle of the webbing from left to right. I put a roping zipper foot left on the machine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this machine in zigzag. You can also do this with straight stitch as well. I'm going to reduce the stitch length to approximately here, and I'm going to sew all the way to our first stitch line and stop. Do some reversing here. I'm going to sew to that stitch line right here, and then I'm going to do quite a bit of reversing here that extends back by about a 1/2 inch or so. We want this down pretty good here. Now we're going to take our slug, whichever slug that is required for your boat, we're going to put it into the webbing strap, and what I'll do is I'll lift my foot and I will turn this assembly around, and we will sew from this direction. Do some reversing and then sew to the slug. When you reach it, do some reversing here. Lock it down well. Okay, now if you had a straight stitch machine, you could just sew with a straight stitch here, 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 maybe 4 straight stitches with several reversing. Now what I'll do is I will put the machine in straight stitch, and we'll show you what we'll do next. Our stitch length is still approximately 3 to 4 millimeters. I'm going to switch this to straight stitch now, and I'm going to move my needle all the way to the right with the lever here. And because I have that roping zipper foot left in, I can get really close to the slug. So I'm going to put the presser foot up against the slug, lower the presser foot, and this gets me the closest stitch that I can sew next to the slug on this side. So we're going to just sew reversing and forward several times right beside the slug just to tack it in position. So do this a couple times. It's okay to run past that 1/2 inch webbing. Okay, that should be good. Now we're going to take it and we're going to flip it to this side, flip this around so we can get over here, and we're going to do that same procedure here. Reverse several times. You want to lock this in place. You don't want this to come loose. There we go. Okay, we're going to install the twist lock eyelet into this side that's reinforced with that fold, and you can install it with a twist lock hole cutter, which is what I recommend doing it because it punches all 4 slots and the oval, or you can position it where you'd like it, and then you could mark where each one of the legs go. And then where the oval goes, and sometimes what I like to do is use this for the oval. Position it around the then what you would do is you'd use a razor blade. Now this is not nearly as easy as doing it with the hole cutter, but you would cut slits just a little bit inside of each one of these areas. There's several layers of webbing here, so this could take some time. And then you'd have to cut out the center. But I'm going to make this a little bit faster. I'm going to use the hole cutter. Now we recommend that you use this hole cutter on the rubber cutting pad, not the solid one. However, cutting through webbing is quite difficult. If you're careful, you can use this. This could break the prongs off, so we have to be careful. I'm going to use that because it just cuts a lot easier through webbing. For normal assemblies, I always use a rubber one. Now this does require a heavy mallet, or a good mallet, and this is the Berry King mallet. And I'm going to be very careful not to twist this tool while I'm using the mallet, because I don't want those prongs to break. What I do is I don't pull it out, I actually look at the bottom side to see if I've cut through, and I have. I've cut through nicely. So I'm going to remove this. Now the hole's a little bit fuzzy. You can use a hot knife to trim that up, but this is the R blade, and F blade works better. Or if you have the thread burner from Sailrite, you can actually use this, and this will clean up that hole pretty nicely, all the little fuzzies. There we go. Now we'll take the eyelet. It goes on this side, like that. Prongs are over here. We'll take the washer, put it on top, and then I like to use a prong bender, but a screwdriver will work just as well, and bend those prongs over the washer. Then if you want to clean up the hole a little bit more, you can either use your hot knife with the F blade, or you can use the thread burner like that. And now this strap is now ready to install on your sail pack. So you can now go back over the instructions or over the video. And this side would be sewn on to 1/2 of the sail pack, and this side would use the twist lock on the other half. So you would follow the instructions just like you would for installing the rest of it. And that is the accommodation for a loose-footed mainsail for the sail pack kits.